Welcome to the Luton Ladies Lowdown. I'm joined this week by a very special guest, Cesca Partridge. She scored 23 goals last season at Real Bedford. Thank you very much for joining me. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Of course, no worries. Yeah, no, I'm doing really well, thanks. Had a nice away day trip at the weekend, watching you guys down at Hutton. And I'm very much looking forward to the upcoming fixture on this Sunday. It's quite a big one, so we'll get into that in a short while. So let's take a look back at the last game against Hutton Women's FC and any other news around the ladies' team. Okay, football. So, on to the game on Sunday. The Luton ladies were away against Hutton. It was a pretty cold day, a late kickoff at 2:30 down at the community ground down there. How was the trip getting down there?
Yeah, it was good. We had the bus, so it was nice with all the girls on there. Had the music playing, getting in the mood for the game. Bit of a long drive, but yeah, it was a good drive down there and good to get in the mood for an FA Cup game.
Yeah, definitely. And it was obviously, if anyone who's watching doesn't know, it was a 4-2 victory. There was two goals scored initially by Hutton. I think it was a bit of I'm going to say maybe a bit of a disruptive pitch, kind of playing on the 4G surface. How was that?
Yeah, I mean, we train on 4G, and we play a few teams in our league that play on 4G. Um, I think it was probably not what we were expecting when we turned up. The changing rooms were quite small, um, and I think it probably did throw some of us a little bit. Um, Hence the two goals to start with. But I think you have to put that aside in football. And once we'd done that, we started playing our game again.
Do you reckon it was kind of a bit of mind games? Because obviously you got the long drive down there, and then they're maybe putting you in a small changing room, something like that.
Yeah, potentially. Long drive and the change rooms were very, very small, very cramped. And it was just for us getting into our headspace. And I think that's something that we did struggle with on Sunday, to start with. But we just had to keep moving forward. We needed that win, and we did it. We showed resilience by coming out second half and proving that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely got some good goals in that second half. Also, I've got to give a shout out. Hutton did have incredibly good support down there, didn't they?
You could say that. Not so, not so nice to me, but they were good for their girls. Yeah, no, there was a lot of support. It was nice to see some of their younger players coming out with them from their younger squads. Um, and yeah, it was a good day for us in the end.
Yeah, yeah. They it seemed like they definitely had. It's like they were trying to get under your skin, wasn't it? Like there was so many players who were pushing you and shoving you and things like that. Do you think that's just kind of part of their game plan? Like they saw the threat of you?
It's a difficult one. I think being one of the taller players on the pitch, it's that presence, and I think that doesn't always help me. People want to get under your skin. I am very much a mind game player. Like if you're giving it to me, I'll give it just as good back sometimes. Um, but I tried not to let it affect my game in the first half. It was important, especially when we went two goals down, to keep my head, and to with the girls like keep pushing for that first goal. Um, so yeah, it was difficult, but again, nothing that I've not ever dealt with before, or nothing that's never happened to me before.
I probably use the word passionate. You seem like an incredibly passionate player. That you get your head in the game and you're very fired up when you're playing.
Yeah, I am very passionate. I need my space before a game to get into that headspace. Um, Football does mean a lot to me, so I think it's good to have that passion. Sometimes it's a little bit too much, and I get in my head a little bit about things. But when it's at that right point of passion, then yeah, it's all good.
And so, yeah, obviously we had the goals in the second half coming in. We had obviously the goal from Ellie, which was a cross by Fee. Then we had the deflection, which went to Amber, who was able to get the goal from that. And then we had the header from Tash Fensum, and finally the goal, which was, I think, just a shot on target from Carla Todd. Obviously, all of those goals were incredible. What does it obviously mean to you being
I
there
think
for that?
I think the most important thing was getting that first goal for us, to relax our nerves, and so that first goal from Ellie was what we needed, and that just showed passion, character from Ellie. To be fair, as well, to get us back into that game, and all the others as well. Seeing Clara, Clara, oh god, scoring, as well, coming up from the devs and doing that for us again is incredible for her. But yeah, it's great to be with all the girls and celebrating those type of goals.
And obviously, last season you were a very strong goal scorer at Real Bedford alongside Tash, weren't you? So obviously, how's that
Yes,
been kind of coming from Real Bedford, where you got, I believe it was 23 goals, and Tash Benson, who I think she got the Golden Boot last season for Real
she
Bedford.
she did, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So how's obviously that? Obviously, you've got that kind of connection, obviously with her, obviously with Huds as well. How's that been kind of transitioning into Luton?
I love playing with Tash. She's a great player to play with. I think for me it's been a difficult start. I got injured in my second game of Luton pre-season, and I think as soon as I went down, I knew it was quite a bad injury. Um, Luckily, I had some pre-holidays booked, so I was able to rest over that period. And I think in my head, coming back in, I would just be able to come back and start training and playing straight away. But I saw our physio, and that just wasn't the case. So it was really difficult to deal with that to start with, starting a new team and not being able to play due to an injury. I think when I got myself fit, it was just about getting in with the girls and to start playing the football that I know I can play. Um, and like we've mentioned earlier, I am passionate, and I think I do get in my head a little bit sometimes. So it's been a difficult start. Still not really where I want to be, as a player and what I can provide for Luton. But that is just coming. The more we train, the more I work with Miles and Faddy and the coaching staff, and that will come. I know it will. It's just about time and patience.
You've already scored 4 goals, so you're already on your way, shall we say? Obviously, from not as many appearances as you had last season. So hopefully, with time, you'll get back into that. Um, but yeah, also Shanice, she was the player of the match. She was absolutely incredible down that wing the whole game.
She is. She's a great player, Shanice. Um, I think as well, she's a similar sort of start to the season as me. She got injured quite early on, so we had a lot of sessions together, working together, trying to get ourselves fit. And she was incredible. She just didn't stop running. It was making me tired watching her run as much as she did. And she's a great player. Again, she's a confidence player, and I think she needed a performance like that just to prove to herself that she how good she actually is as a player.
It felt like a kind of a real shift in pace, I'd maybe say, when Gabs came on and Gabs and Shanice moved out to the wings with Tash in the middle. It felt like that was kind of more of their natural positions. You saw a lot more kind of energy going down those wings.
Definitely, I think Gab's again another a great player, and I think the pace on her is just, in our league and the leagues below, and even in the leagues above, it's difficult to deal with that type of pace. We definitely settled when we moved back into our normal formation that we normally play, which definitely helped. And obviously, they had a sending off. We got that extra goal, and I do just think that helped settle everyone's nerves, um, as a squad, and a team. So yeah, it was good having those two players come on and do what they needed to do.
Yeah, it was. It definitely, from where I was standing behind the goal, it definitely seemed a lot like a sending off because there was a large amount of, I'm going to say, dissent from their
Yeah,
player. Um, I mean, it was I believe, from watching, it was just a fairly natural coming together of someone going for the ball and their keeper.
yeah,
Like, and then obviously they made such a huge issue of it, and I think, if I remember correctly, the player kicked the ball away which got her the first yellow, and then just didn't know quite
Didn't
when
know
to
when to
stop
stop.
talking. Yeah, but that I think that definitely lent itself quite well to Luton in terms of kind of the energy levels that you guys have. Then going against just the 10 players, it really kind of elevated Luton's position.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, having their player sent off, I mean, any player sent off is always a positive for the other team because you're playing against 10 men. Um, it was obviously the ref, I think, made some good decisions on Sunday. I think she was a good ref. And I think that, yeah, when she got sent off, we had to do our job. We knew that the job needed to be finished at that point. There was no excuses. And that's what we did. We got the job done.
Yeah, it was a really good game to watch, and obviously we're through to the next round of the FA Cup, and that is going to be against Stevenage, which will be an interesting fixture.
Yeah, excited for that. Excited for the game against Stevenage. It'll be an interesting one. Obviously, they're in our league, but again, we'll prepare for it, and we'll hopefully get the job done again. It'll be great to get to the next round of the FA Cup, and just prove to people how serious we are at Luton Town.
Yeah, and for anyone that isn't aware, we did actually get a 1-0 victory over Stevenage earlier in the season. It was a hard-fought victory because they defended incredibly well, but we managed to get over the line for the 1-0 victory, so hopefully we'll get a couple more in the upcoming game. It's going to be away at Stevenage, and we'll put more information out on our channel, and the Luton ladies will also release more information, obviously, on their channels. Okay, so Cesca, obviously last season you came from Real Bedford. You scored 23 goals, very prolific. What has been your journey into football? How did you get started? Where have you been? And why did you join Luton?
It's going to be that cliche response that you probably hear all the time. I've got an older brother who loves football, and he got my older sister into football, and then I kind of just followed in the footsteps. Um, and I went to Northampton Town, and was in their academy for a lot of my childhood. Went into their under 18s team, and then played for their women's team for as long as I can really remember. And then the season before Bedford, I went to Cambridge United and had a great season there. Great team, loved the girls, loved the management. However, just with commitment to travel, it was an hour and a half for me traveling, and I work. I'm also at uni as well at the same time. So it was a big commitment to do that on top of everything else I've got going on. So I decided I needed to leave, look for something a little bit closer to home, um, and Pete McCormack got in contact with me from Bedford, and we had a chat, and I was there last season. So yeah, the cliche response, my brother, and then yeah, I've been at a couple of teams. I've not really settled anywhere since Northampton. I think it's important that I need to do that as myself, as a player myself. I need to be somewhere where I feel settled, and I'm starting to feel that way at Luton. So that's really good. Hopefully, it will be many seasons.
And how did you actually come to joining Luton?
So the last few seasons, when I first left Northampton, I was looking around at clubs, and I went and trained with Luton, but it was really difficult because Cambridge United were in the tier higher. I didn't want to particularly drop a level at that time. I wanted to stay playing at the highest level possible I could play at, which is why I stuck with that. And then I think after Bedford, um, I wanted to be with some of the players that I played with at Bedford. We kind of had a couple of conversations about where to go. Luton are a great squad. They've got great management, great coaching staff. It was really a no-brainer for me to be part of this hopefully growing team. So yeah,
Well, I'm glad you're here. Let's say that.
thank you.
Okay, cool. So, moving on to kind of some more personal style questions. Do you have any pre-match rituals, or are you superstitious?
This is a difficult one. I don't think I am as a player, but I think some of the girls would say that I am. When we do our team talk in the middle of the pitch before a game, always have to have my hand on top of everyone else's. But I don't know if it's, I don't like to have superstitions. I don't want to be, but maybe that is a slight superstition of mine that I'd like to be on, have my hand on top of everyone else's, but I don't think so. Not really. Other than that, I can't really think of anything.
Okay. And do you get nervous before games at all?
Yeah, 100%. I think some people would probably think not. I'm quite a big character and I don't like to always show my nerves. But yeah, I think I do. It's important. I care about it. I think anything you care about and there's something on the line, you do tend to get nervous. So yeah, I do get nervous, but I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. And then finally, do you have a song or a playlist that gets you hyped for the game?
I would say Taylor Swift, but again, I'm never allowed to play Taylor Swift in the changing rooms because it's Taylor Swift. But um, I we have a Luton Town playlist, and we play that, and we can all add songs to it. So anything on there, to be fair, gets me hyped for a game. But I will listen to Taylor Swift in my car on the way before.
I'll definitely have to at some point get a link to the Luton Ladies playlist because I hear about it pretty much every podcast I do. So it'll be very interesting to see
I'll
what's on
send it
there.
across to you.
Thank you. Okay, now five quick fire questions. Don't think too hard about these. Right, so Coke or Pepsi?
Coke,
Night out or night in?
night in,
Pizza or pasta?
pasta,
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
And scoring a worldie goal or getting a stunning assist?
I'm a striker, scoring a worldie
Yeah.
goal.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's move on to any other news that's happened around the Luton Town ladies. Luton are still in second currently with Royston, who are at number one with an unbeaten record. They are going to be coming to, they're coming to Barton this coming Sunday on the 10th with a kickoff at, I can't remember if they changed this one from 2 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Yeah,
No, I think it's still 2 o'clock.
still 2 o'clock. Okay. And also something I heard recently, breaking news. I believe there's going to be a charity quiz night organised by the Luton ladies to try and raise some money for obviously Andy Dickens, Kira Palmero with their ACL injuries. So obviously keep an eye out on socials. That will be announced at some point soon, I'm sure. Now, speaking of the Royston game, how do you see that going? Obviously, this is such a huge fixture coming up. We were unlucky, I would say, unlucky because of the referee maybe in the first game. I don't want to go into it too much. And we narrowly missed out 2-3 in the away fixture. How do you see this one going?
We've prepped extremely well as a team. The coaching staff have prepped well, the management have prepped well. We had a session last night, which was great without giving too much away, and we're ready for the game. We've got a session tomorrow where we'll only grow on what we've already prepared for it. I think as a squad, we want this more than anything. I think it's important. We have to get this win. Um, it's not about wanting it. We have to get it. And I think together we will do that. And we're feeling confident, excited, and we'll just push forward from there.
And obviously, hopefully, we have the home advantage at Barton. So if you are around, please come down to the Barton ground on Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff. Please support the Luton ladies. I'll be there, so I'll probably see you there on Sunday.
Really.
That is everything for the pod. Is there anything else you would like to add at the end, Jessica?
No, thank you so much, though. Thanks for having me. It's been
Of
great.
course, no worries at all. Okay, so a big thank you to Black Star and Carry On for making us sound great, and a shout out for the pod sponsor, the Record Shop in Amersham. They've got vinyl, CDs, guitars, and more. If you mention the OK Football Show and you're nice, you can get a discount. Also, if you do like this content, please subscribe to us on YouTube. Come on, you hatters.